Mardi Gras is one of the most vibrant and well-known celebrations in the world, but where did it all begin? How did this tradition spread across different countries? And why is it such a big deal in places like New Orleans? To answer these questions, we need to go back over 1,000 years. The name Mardi Gras comes from French, with Mardi meaning Tuesday and Gras meaning fat, hence Fat Tuesday. This refers to the tradition of indulging in rich foods before the fasting period of Lent in the Christian calendar. The roots of Mardi Gras can be traced back to ancient Roman festivals like Saturnalia and Lupercalia, which involved feasting, costumes, and wild celebrations. As Christianity spread, these customs blended with religious observances, evolving into what we now know as Carnival. By the Middle Ages, France and Italy had well-established pre-Lenten festivals featuring grand feasts, masked balls, and street processions. These traditions eventually crossed the Atlantic with French explorers and settlers. Before we dive deeper, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more fascinating history and cultural insights. If you love exploring global traditions, hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Now let's get into the history of Mardi Gras. Mardi Gras made its way to North America in 1699 when French-Canadian explorer Pierre Le Moyne d'Iberville landed near present-day Louisiana. He and his men marked the occasion with a small festival, making it the first recorded Mardi Gras celebration in North America. As New Orleans grew, so did its Mardi Gras traditions. By the 19th century, it had become a legendary event. With the introduction of parades, masked balls, and crews, private clubs that organize elaborate floats and processions. Over time, bead throwing, flamboyant costumes, and the famous king cake tradition became central elements of the celebration. While New Orleans is the most famous American city for Mardi Gras, Mobile, Alabama, actually claims the title of the oldest Mardi Gras celebration in the United States. Founded by French settlers in 1702, Mobile's Mardi Gras traditions have evolved separately from New Orleans, focusing heavily on mystic societies, moon pies instead of beads, and an emphasis on more family-friendly events. Though it doesn't have the same global fame as New Orleans, Mobile's Mardi Gras remains a significant part of the Gulf Coast's cultural heritage. Mardi Gras isn't just a southern U.S. phenomenon, it's part of a much larger global tradition known as Carnival, which takes place in many countries before Lent. Brazil's Rio de Janeiro Carnival is the largest in the world, known for its samba parades, extravagant costumes, and electrifying atmosphere. Venice, Italy is famous for its elegant carnival dating back to the Renaissance, where revelers wear intricate masks and attend grand balls. In France, the Nice Carnival is one of the oldest in Europe, featuring flower parades and artistic floats. Germany's Cologne Carnival is another major event, blending medieval and modern traditions with colorful street parades and music. The Caribbean, particularly Trinidad and Tobago, hosts one of the liveliest carnivals, blending African, Indian, and European influences into a spectacular celebration. In addition to its rich history, Mardi Gras is full of unique traditions. The famous crews of New Orleans organize elaborate parades, tossing beads, coins, and trinkets to excited crowds. Bead throwing dates back to the 19th century and is said to bring good luck. Some of the most well-known crews include the Crew of Rex, which has been a staple since 1872, and the all-female Crew of Muses, famous for throwing decorated high-heeled shoes. Each crew selects a royal court, complete with a king and queen, adding to the pageantry of the event. One of the most iconic Mardi Gras traditions is the king cake. This festive pastry, often decorated in purple, green, and gold, the official colors of Mardi Gras, contains a hidden baby figurine. The person who finds the baby is said to have good fortune and is responsible for bringing the next king cake to a future gathering. The colors of Mardi Gras each have symbolic meaning. Purple represents justice, green symbolizes faith, and gold stands for power. These colors were chosen by the Crew of Rex in 1872 and have remained a fundamental part of the celebration ever since. Another crucial part of Mardi Gras is the tradition of masking. In the early days of New Orleans Mardi Gras, wearing masks allowed people to escape the rigid social structures of the time, allowing everyone, regardless of class, to celebrate freely. Today, masks remain an essential part of the experience, from simple feathered disguises to elaborate handcrafted Venetian-style creations. In fact, by law, float riders in New Orleans are required to wear masks, keeping the spirit of anonymity alive. Beyond the parades, music plays a huge role in Mardi Gras. Traditional brass bands, jazz musicians, and street performers fill the city with sound, blending New Orleans' deep musical roots with the spirit of celebration. One of the most famous Mardi Gras songs is Mardi Gras Mambo, often heard blaring from bars and parade floats throughout the season. Another well-loved anthem is Go to the Mardi Gras by Professor Longhair, a New Orleans music legend. Music is just as important in other carnival celebrations. Samba in Brazil, steel drum performances in the Caribbean, and folk music in Europe all contribute to the festive atmosphere. A lesser-known but fascinating Mardi Gras tradition is the Courir de Mardi Gras, celebrated in the rural areas of Louisiana, particularly Cajun communities. This event, inspired by medieval French traditions, involves costumed riders on horseback or wagons traveling from house to house, singing, dancing, and collecting ingredients for a communal gumbo. Participants often wear handmade masks and hats known as capuchons, creating a distinct look separate from the flashy parades of New Orleans. The event highlights the deep French and Acadian influences in Louisiana's culture and offers a unique take on Mardi Gras celebrations. Meanwhile, in the Caribbean, the spirit of Mardi Gras and Carnival is deeply intertwined with African traditions. During the era of slavery, enslaved Africans were not allowed to partake in European masquerade balls, so they created their own vibrant celebrations. Over time, these traditions merged, leading to the creation of Jouvert, a pre-dawn street festival filled with music, dance, and body paint. Jouvert is now a staple of Caribbean carnival celebrations, particularly in Trinidad and Tobago, where revelers take to the streets covered in mud oil and colorful powders to symbolize freedom and unity. Although modern Mardi Gras is known for its extravagant celebrations, its religious roots remain significant to many. The holiday marks the last day before Ash Wednesday, which begins the 40-day season of Lent in the Christian tradition. In many cultures, Shrove Tuesday, another name for Mardi Gras, is associated with the practice of eating pancakes, symbolizing the use of rich ingredients before the fasting period begins. While some revelers focus on the partying aspect, others use the occasion to gather with family and enjoy traditional meals. Mardi Gras is more than just a wild party. It's a cultural and historical event that brings people together. It represents resilience, joy, and tradition, connecting generations and communities across the world. Whether in New Orleans, Rio, Venice, or Cologne, Mardi Gras and Carnival are about embracing life, culture, and togetherness. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the history of Mardi Gras, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more fascinating stories from around the world. Which Mardi Gras or Carnival tradition is your favorite? Drop a comment below, and let's keep the conversation going. Thanks for watching, and as they say in New Orleans, laissez les bons temps rouler. Let the good times roll.